A lot of people questioned the Toronto Raptors front office and their decision making when they traded for Brandon Ingram last season. It didn't make a lot of sense for a retooling team to be trading away a first round pick and other draft capital for an injured all-star player who hadn't really played all season. But fast forward to this season, Brandon Ingram has completely transformed the Raptors offense from one of the worst to one of the better offenses in the entire NBA. Not only does this help the Raptors offense, this also helps Scotty Barnes, who hasn't had a running mate like this since Pascal Siakam, and you could see a noticeable change in Scotty Barnes' offensive game, who we'll talk about in just a moment. But Mamu Kamishvili is also another player who has really helped the Raptors on both ends of the floor when he is playing. The Raptors have seen a big man who is able to stretch the floor and shoot three-point shots, and this just opens up so much more for guys like Scotty and RJ when they're attacking the basket. And as you see there, Mamu is just a really welcome addition to the Raptors offense that just really needed more three-point shooting. But let's talk about Colin Murray Boyles. There's a lot of questions marks about his shooting. How would he shoot in the NBA? And although he has missed quite a bit of time this season and hasn't really been able to play consistently, his defense has been amazing and he has displayed great qualities of being a solid three-point shooter in the NBA. Now to talk a little bit more about Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes seems like he just is so much more comfortable on the offensive side and letting the game come to him. He did struggle a little bit with his offensive game last season where he was tasked to do a lot just by himself and really just run the offense, and teams were really focused in on Scotty Barnes. But with Brandon Ingram here, this gives him the chance to kind of play off the ball a little bit more, but also initiate the offense and be a little bit more of a playmaker, but also be a scorer when he chooses to be. As you see there this season, he is averaging 19.4 points per game, 7.7 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 1.4 steals, 1.8 blocks a game, and most importantly, his three-point shot is back. He is shooting an incredible 40% from the three-point line. And to kind of discuss more about how Brandon Ingram has helped the offense quite a bit, I'm going to be talking about some stats, particularly comparing last season to this season. So as you see here, the offensive rating for the Toronto Raptors last season was 109.6, which ranked them 26th in the NBA, near the bottom. But this season, with Brandon Ingram playing, they have an offensive rating of 117.8, which ranks them seventh, nearly 20 spots above what they ranked last season. And not only that, but even their assist percentage as well was, this is a team that's always going to pass the ball really well, especially when you have Darko there being the head coach of the Toronto Raptors. Last season, they had an assist percentage of 68.5, which ranked them second in the NBA. And this season, as you see there, there's pretty much on par with that, but they are ranked sixth as well, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I'll talk about this assist percentage in just a moment. But I wanted to talk about this first. When you look at pace last season, the Toronto Raptors are absolutely running. They had a pace of 100.62, which ranked them fourth in the NBA, while this season, their pace is a little bit slower. They have a pace of 101.80, which ranks them 12th in the NBA. Now, when we talked about assist percentage, when you think about the Toronto Raptors, think about ISO basketball. This is actually a very good stat to use when we talk about the Raptors being a better half court offensive team. You talk about the Raptors have slowed down their pace, but yet they're scoring way more points and averaging a much higher offensive rating than last season. This just tells you that the Raptors don't necessarily have to run and gun as much as they did in the past to necessarily get points and get easy baskets, because their half court offense has gotten that much better. And obviously, Brandon Ingram has been a huge part of that. Their true shooting percentage last season was 55.3, which ranked them 25th in the NBA. And this season, their true shooting percentage is 60.3, which ranks them sixth in the NBA. And points per possession. This is a very, very important stat, because last season, point per 100 possessions, they had 100.5, which really isn't great. Let's be honest. That ranked them 25th in the NBA. Meanwhile, this season, points per 100 possession, they are averaging 119.9, which ranks them seventh in the NBA. So obviously the Raptors offense has just completely transformed with Brandon Ingram there. This gives them essentially an ISO score, and you've seen his mid-range game as well. And not only his mid-range game, but also the amount of attention he draws from defenses, even in late game situations. He's getting double team, triple team. And we saw it today as well versus the 76ers. And this just allows some of the other players to get more open looks, whether that's RJ Barrett cutting to the basket, whether that's Emmanuel quickly having an open three-point shot at the three-point line. Brandon Ingram has just really transformed the Toronto Raptors offense from one of the worst to one of the better in the entire NBA. And obviously, a lot of other people feel you can tell by the style of play that the Raptors are playing. They feel a little bit more relieved when the pressure is not as much on RJ or on Scotty to necessarily be the focal point of their offense when you have Brandon Ingram there. And the last stat I want to talk about before we end the video off here is fourth quarter field goal percentage. This is something I've noticed quite a bit. This is exactly why I wanted to take a look at this stat here. Last season, the Toronto Raptors actually had a pretty good field goal percentage, fourth quarter field goal percentage of 47.3%, which ranked them 12th in the NBA. But this season, the Toronto Raptors have a fourth quarter field goal percentage of 53.2, which ranks them first. They are first in the NBA and getting the ball in the basket, which is absolutely amazing. And to see the Raptors really just struggle so many different times last season, we saw the struggles from a lot of different players. To see what the offense has become, one of the better offenses to the point where the Raptors aren't even one of the best defenses in the league, not top five, but despite that, they are outscoring opponents because their offense is that good. So their offense is going to be something that is absolutely going to carry them to a lot of victories this season. And listen, they are second in the Eastern Conference. Who had predicted that before the season? I'm not going to sit here and act like I did because I certainly did not. I had them as a playing team, and I'm really happy and I'm really, really surprised at the way that Raptors have been playing this season. So, what are your thoughts on the Raptors thus far? Are you excited? What do you think their potential could be? And where do you think they'll finish at the end of the season? Let me know in the comment section below. And that will be it for today's video. So, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.